Good morning, YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, for watching. My name is Catherine McNulty. I am the founder of GriefInspired. If you have been following me, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't been following me, then welcome to my life. Today I am sitting out front of my new home that I moved to be with my parents and to spend more time with them, among other reasons. I am having an interesting experience right now because I buried my father on Saturday, and so I am reliving grief. I consider myself to be a grief expert, but when grief happens to you again, new things come up. So I want to share with you a new tool that I have found, and I'm just going to talk about it because it's brand new to me. I'm certainly not an expert. It's not anything I can teach. I just want to share it with you because one of the things that's really important to me is having tools. And I'll tell you what, this weekend we had a beautiful funeral. I was a big part of it. So we did have a Catholic funeral mass. So I got to say one of the readings, and one of the readings was Romans 5:5, and it says on there, hope does not disappoint. And it was so fitting. I didn't choose the reading. The reading kind of chose me. My mother chose the reading and then shared it with me and said, will you read this? And it's surprising because everything I do and everything I stand for with grief is that there is hope, that we can get through it, that yes, it's hard, that it's one of the most challenging things that we can do, but we need to do it. We need to grieve. We need to lean into our grief. We need to feel all of it. But there is always hope. There's hope that we can get through it. There is hope that we can grow and we can learn from it. There is hope that our lives can be more rich and more meaningful. And that is exactly what I have been experiencing. So the tool I want to talk about, just so that you guys know what it is, and then I'll share a little more if you're here just for the tool. The tool is Breathwork, and so you can go to YouTube here and you can search Breathwork. And what it is it's breathing. It's a breathing technique, but it's using a breathing technique in a very specific way. So it's really finding a way to oxygenate your body very quickly. And there's different methodologies, but what I've found in my own grief, and especially like right now, as you guys all know, I generally suffer from a lot of anxiety just in general. I have a basal level of anxiety that I've learned how to live with. And I think that going through my grief process again and the funeral and meeting all of the people, and there was so much activity that my anxiety level has gone up. And so I was really looking for even more tools, and I happened to find Breathwork. And so I've been trying it out, and it's really helped me. So I immediately wanted to share it with all of you, because if you are anxious, if you have anxiety right now around all of the changes and things that are happening in your life, Breathwork is a way to really get present, to really oxygenate your body. What you're doing is you're teaching your parasympathetic nervous system to calm the hell down, because what happens when we're anxious is we're always in a state of fight or flight, right? And we can't ever calm down from that. One, it's not healthy. Two, it's just a terrible state to be in. And so what I like about the breath work and why I'm sharing it with you now is that it really throws a wrench in it, and really makes it stop. So it's a way to reprogram your body to really just say, like, stop this, stop being in fight or flight. And so I don't know, I assume it will work better as I do it more. So I'm excited to keep doing it, but it is just another tool. But so I just wanted to share a little bit. This weekend was so amazing in so many ways. And one of the other things that, when we talk about hope, I talk a lot about gratitude. And I have so much to be grateful for when it comes to one, getting here, right? So I moved to Virginia to be able to spend more time with my parents, to be here when they needed me. And literally, I got here on the 7th of July, right? This is the month of July. Yes, well, now we're in August. So a month ago, I arrived in California and all my goods arrived here. And a week later, my dad was in the hospital. And a week later, he was on hospice. And a week later, we are having a funeral. And here we are, August 7th, a month from the day that I moved into this home, essentially. And I'm very grateful for being here and being able to be with him. I'm grateful for having a daytime job that allowed me flexibility to be with him in the hospital, to be with him in hospice, to be a little out of it, right? Because grief and anticipatory grief and worrying about your family, right? It takes away your focus. It doesn't, and I was hyper focused. The only thing I could focus on was my dad, and then helping him see if he could get better. And when we realized that he couldn't get better, making sure that his transition was a peaceful one. And I had the experience before of, as all of you know, hopefully, my infant, Jackson Robert. So this was 12 years ago now. We removed life support, and I was with him as he transitioned. But it's very different when it's an adult. It's very different when it's your father. It was hard. It was hard, but it was also peaceful. I do believe that I was not alone during the process. Not only was my sister there to help, and I had a very large extended family. I'm the youngest of 7. So many of my siblings were there to help. It was a peaceful transition. And like I said, I feel so grateful for that to have happened. And I am blown away, right? When we talk about our own growth, I grew a lot, and I will continue to grow from this experience. I learned that I had a strength I didn't know I had. And to be with him right through the end. And it was beautiful. And I'm so blessed to have been able to be with him and to be here, right? And to spend all the time that I got to spend with my brothers and sisters who also stopped their lives to come and be with him. And I am in awe of them. And so I'm closer to them now, and that is a gift. There are always gifts that come out of grief if we are willing to look for them. And you know, sometimes I don't tell people early on to look for those gifts because it seems like it's not fair, right? Because we're grieving and we need to grieve first. But now that I am grieving again, I think that one of the first things that we should do when we grieve is look for the gifts. Look for the gifts of what they brought to us first. And then later, we will continue to grieve because the grief is going to be there. But let's start with gratitude. I am so grateful that I got to spend time with my father. I am so grateful that I was so close to him. I am so grateful that we got to spend the countless hours in the hospital by ourselves, just me and him, in the wee hours of the night when he needed his blanket pulled up or his blanket pulled off because he was caught, or he needed a sip of his ginger ale, or he needed his pillow shifted, or he needed scratch my ear because his ear was itchy, whatever it was. I'm so grateful to have been there. And I'm so grateful for everything that he has taught me because I am so much like him. So he is a scientist. He is a material chemist. He did some very notable things Like, he invented one of the formulations that is now used in Post-it notes, right? That adhesive. He was a material scientist and worked with adhesives. And so he did that, right? And he contributed to the Post-it note, which is we all use, right? And we all have them in our homes. And that's pretty freaking incredible. He also formulated an adhesive rubber-like kind of wrap that wrapped around the Alaskan pipeline, which brings oil to the U.S., which gives us all of the things that we appreciate it when it comes to heat and transportation here in the U.S. He did that. And then finally, but he also created an epoxy coating, a ultra white epoxy coating for the floor of where the space shuttle was held, right? He contributed to space travel. Remarkable. He has 15 grandchildren. He has 7 children, some great grandchildren. I think there's 3 of them. And it's just remarkable how much he contributed. So I'm sharing with you about my dad so that you take a moment wherever you are in your grief journey and remember the people that you lost. What did they contribute? What did they contribute to the world? My father was very active in his church community, and it was overwhelming the response we got from the church community and how they embraced our entire family and my mother. And that's because of who he was, because who she was, and the faith that they showed. And I am in awe and inspired by that, because I want that. I want to know that I've made a difference just like he did. I want to know that I will be remembered after I am gone. I want to contribute. And so he's really inspired me to do even more. I'm going to take a little time. I'm going to grieve because I need to do that. I need to get this place in order. But there is time to do more. And so if you are grieving someone that you love, which you probably are if you're here, remember what they brought to you. Remember what they brought to the world. Remember what they brought to you personally. Remember what they brought to your family. Because no matter how big and important you think they were, contribution is so critical. And I think everybody has a contribution to our lives, and that's why you're here, and that's why you're grieving. And so take note of that and remember and honor that and share it with other people. Please drop comments below about who your loved one was and what they brought to you, because I want to know that. I want you to keep their memory alive and keep sharing it so that other people can see it. And then I want you to think about your life and what you're currently contributing and what you could be contributing and what you want to contribute, and what are the things that you've been thinking about doing that you haven't done. Do it for yourself, do it for them, do it for the rest of us. Because the more we share, the more connected we become. I think the better our experience is in life, and I think the better our experience will be as we die. And so I think that I just want to say goodbye to my father, although this isn't goodbye because he is going to be with me in so many different things. But I just want to honor him in a way that he deserves to be honored, and your loved ones deserve to be honored too. So please share below, share why, why were they so important to you? What did they contribute to you? And then go out and make a difference in the world and do something nice for somebody else who's grieving. If you are further along in your grief process, find someone else who is grieving and share. I can promise you that they are all around you. And those of us who are grieving need people around us who are also grieving and who get it. I can't tell you this weekend how many very well-intentioned people said, but he's in a better place. Oh, yuck. Maybe it's true. But as a newly bereaved, I don't want to hear that. I want him to be with me. So I am just so honored. And I just want to thank all of you guys for being here with me. I know so many of you have reached out to me to support me, and I want to thank you for that. Even when I haven't responded, I still hear it. I still see it. Yeah, better place. Oh. But it's okay. It's okay. So we just love them all anyways. But the more we share, the more we connect with people who are also grieving, we can do them a big service by being really understanding and not saying those terrible things, and giving people space to actually grieve, because that's what needs to happen. We need to grieve. But like the Bible says, hope does not disappoint, and we need to stay in hope. We need to stay in hope. Whether you believe in the promise of afterlife or not, there is hope. There is hope in life, and there is hope in death too. And whatever that means to you, it's perfectly fine. I share what I believe. You can believe what you want to believe. But we need to share, and we need to do it together. So thanks, guys, so much. I love all of you. I feel so much love right now for him, for my family. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible because you can't have grief without love. And those are some of the cornerstones of GriefInspired, that the reason why you grieve is because you love, and that there is always hope, and that you should not do it alone. Those are really the key things, and that you will find a path to happiness after loss. You can, and you will. Let's stick together. My path has just gotten bigger, and maybe my path is taking another turn, and we'll see where that goes. But there is always a path ahead of us, and it's a path to be treasured and to be honored and to not be taken lightly. So you guys are all amazing. Thank you for being on your grief journey with me. Keep writing me. I will get back to as many of you as I can, as soon as I can, I promise. I know if you've written to me and you haven't gotten a response, I know they are there, and I will respond as soon as I can. Thanks so much, guys. Take care for now.